Golf Pick'em Expert Picks, brought to you by FootJoy.
The PGA Tour is back in the U.S. after Xander Schauffele won a gold medal in the Olympics. It's now time for the WGC-FedEx St. Jude Invitational. The playoffs are around the corner, but first we have 66 guys teeing it up this week at TPC Southwind. And as always, you know the drill with the Golf Pick'em game in the NBC Sports Predictor app. Go through our list of 10 head-to-head matchups, pick a winner for each, pick a tournament winner and a winning score, $1,000 in guaranteed prizes up for grabs each week, $50,000 jackpot on the line for a perfect score. We're going to start things off with the only two players who have won this tournament while it has been designated as a WGC. That is Brooks Koepka and defending champion Justin Thomas. JT was in Japan last week. He finished T22 in Tokyo, coming off a final round 65, whereas Brooks Koepka stayed home, but is trending in the right direction. He has finished 3 straight events, T6 or better. Remember, he won here 2 years ago, held off Rory in the final round, returned with a T2 finish last year, right behind Justin Thomas. He gets my vote. He is moving in the right direction. I think big things are ahead for Brooks Koepka. Our next matchup features a pair of major champions, Colin Montgomerie, who won last month at Royal St. George's, also barely missed out on a bronze medal last week in Tokyo, versus Bryson DeChambeau, who missed out entirely on the Olympics because he tested positive for COVID-19. This is his first start back, and he's actually looking for a little bit of momentum. Hasn't been inside the top 10 since the Wells Fargo Championship back in May. This is not a course where he has had a ton of success of late. He's finished T30 and T48, whereas Colin Montgomerie is among the best players in the world right now. The irons remain on point. We saw what he did in England. We saw what he did Sunday in Tokyo, shooting a final round 63. I'm going to go with the hot hand. I'm going to go with Colin Montgomerie. He did finish T20 here last year. That's not great considering it's a no-cut event, but I think he's going to have the goods to beat Bryson in this matchup. Two men who are flying to Memphis from Japan. Only one of them did so with a gold medal around his neck. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Reed. Schauffele got a huge win Sunday in Japan, getting that gold medal around his neck, holding off Rory Sabatini in the process. Now he heads to an event where he finished T6 just last year. So he's clearly trending in the right direction, has been very strong over the last couple of months. Patrick Reed was a late replacement for Bryson DeChambeau in the Olympics, ended up with a respectable showing. He tied for 22nd. Now he's going to look to build some momentum, potentially towards a Ryder Cup bid, whether or not he makes it automatically or needs a pick from Captain Steve Stricker. But I'm going to have to go with the gold medalist. Xander Schauffele, that was just a great performance in Tokyo. This is a course where he has had a little bit more success in the recent past than Patrick Reed, and I think the X-Man gets it done once again this week at the WGC. Rory McIlroy was a bit of a reluctant Olympian, but he left Tokyo nearly winning a bronze medal and with a changed perspective on golf's place in the Olympics. Now he heads to a WGC that he nearly won 2 years ago. He went toe-to-toe with Brooks Koepka down the stretch, ended up finishing T4. In this matchup, he's facing Jordan Spieth, who is one of the hottest players in the world over the last, let's say, 6 months. He flipped the switch at the Waste Management Phoenix Open way back in February and basically hasn't stopped since. That includes a win at the Valero Texas Open. That includes a runner-up finish at the Open in his most recent start. His iron play has been great. The short game is coming right back around. He is basically a fixture in the top 10, 9 top 10s in his last 14 starts. Rory has the track record when it comes to Memphis, but I'm riding with Jordan Spieth. He's just a hotter hand. I love where his game is at overall. I think he could be poised for a big run in the playoffs as we get set for that later this month. So those are my thoughts on some of the marquee matchups this week, but you know what you need to do for the Golf Pick'em game in the NBC Sports Predictor app. Make choices for all 10 head-to-head matchups, and oh, by the way, you need a tournament winner. So this week, listen, I'm not going to get too fancy. I'm going to go with the top of the board. The betting favorite, Brooks Koepka. I love where his game is trending. I love his rapport with this golf course. He finished first 2 years ago, finished tied for second last year, has been T6 or better in each of his last 3 starts overall. Those are some great trends in the right direction. He just tends to play a little bit better in some of these WGC events. So remember, go into the NBC Sports Predictor app, make your selections for the Golf Pick'em game. You could be eligible for $1,000 in guaranteed prizes, $50,000 jackpot up for grabs for a perfect score. We'll see you next week.